My name is Marius Fortelni. I'm a real estate developer. I've developed properties in New York, but mainly now develop in Florida, Palm Beach County, as the market there is really good, and a lot of New Yorkers are moving down to Florida. So I was the president of a building, 3 East 78th Street. I bought the apartment when Sofer took it from a rental to a condominium in the late 80s. Loved the building. It is truly one of the most magnificent brownstone buildings. It's a limestone building. The architect is a very famous architect, C.P.H. Gilbert. He did entire blocks. And it's 30 foot wide, 35 feet wide with gargoyles. I mean, it's an amazing building with an amazing history. And so right next to us is NYU. And when the sponsor converted the building from rentals to condominiums, they wrote up a text that basically gave NYU every possibility to enter the building, to open the building, to use the basement space and the first floor. And we really had no out. So we discussed this with several law firms, and they said, look, you're wasting your time. The language is written in such a way that it gives them all the rights. And then through a friend of mine, he said, you know what, there's one law firm that probably can help you, even though your case seems to be hopeless, and that's Adam Leitman Bailey. And that's how I got to him. You know what, in every field, doesn't matter what field it is, you find 1, 2, or 3 people that are brilliant, and Adam is brilliant. He doesn't take the normal approach. He takes a totally different approach, because when we read the text together, the text that gave NYU all the rights was 100%. There was no loophole in there, because that's how they wrote it. But Adam took a very different approach in our conversations and said, look, this is a landmark building, and an original is only original if it's an original. And he came up with the example of, you go to a classic car auction, and there's a really famous car that is worth a lot of money. But if a couple of pieces have been replaced with new pieces, it's not a classic car anymore. Only a classic car, only the original is an original. And he used that in front of court, in front of landmarks, to drive home the point that if they start breaking open the side of the building in order to get into the basement, we would have given up all the rights, of course, because we don't know who enters the basement then. But besides that, the building would have lost its originality. And it's a very famous and really special building. And that's how we approached the case. NYU had rights to our basement, which was quite large, about 4,000 feet, and to parts of the first floor. And they wanted to create a direct entrance through the side of the building, open up the side of the basement wall, and create a direct access from NYU, which is the Duke Mansion next to us, into our building, the second entrance, so to speak, so that their students could flow in and out of our building freely. Obviously, that would have given us the loss of control who enters the building, as well as, you know, the building would not have been the same. It would not have been original anymore. Hopeless. They're one of those moments where we thought, I read that text several times. We took it to several attorneys, and they gave us exactly the same explanation. The text is what it is. It's written to make sure any and possible loopholes are eliminated. And it stated that NYU will be able to do this. And so we thought we really have no chance until I finally talked with Adam, and he took a totally different approach. Well, he took a different approach by saying, you know what, this text gives them the right, but it doesn't give them the right to basically destroy a landmark building. And it was a pretty simple and powerful approach. And he took examples of why we have landmarks, why a building like that cannot just be altered regardless of what our agreement said. And that really was a very powerful argument in front of landmarks. And they said, no, you can't do this. Adam is brilliant. Adam thinks outside the box. Adam doesn't give up. He goes to war for you. He takes the case, and really you've hired somebody who's going to take it all the way through. He's one of the most impressive individuals I've ever met. And I had lawsuits in Europe. I'm European. I had lawsuits in Paris and in Vienna and out here in the Hamptons. But Adam is extraordinary in every way. Honestly, I don't think he has any weaknesses. You know, I think that man is made to do what he's supposed to do. And he's just set apart. There's a Tiger Woods. There's always some people in some fields, sports, whatever it is, that are extraordinary. And Adam, if he were a golfer, would be Tiger Woods. I said, I think he really gets into the case, thinks outside the box, finds a path no matter what, does not give up, has a tenacity that is amazing. I think he doesn't sleep at night because I think he works 7 days a week, 24/7 for you. If you ever have a case, he's the only one that I would hire again. Really have a difficult case, any case really, you want to make sure that you are on the winning side. And the way Adam approaches any kind of deals that I've seen, any kind of agreements, he finds a path. He doesn't give up. That tenacity to say, no matter what it says, I'm going to find a path to victory. That is something that is rare. I think if he would have lived a long time ago, he would have been Caesar in an army because he doesn't give up. The only one I would recommend.